Okay, hello reader, listener, earth person, welcome. This is an installment of IWS4, the Information Workers Syndicate study group. The Information Workers Syndicate, IWS, is an economic and social collective for those whose core functions are the creation, management, and distribution of information. Here the term syndicate or collective means an organization-based and global sectorial and industrial worker solidarity, autonomous grassroots economic and social association, and mutual assistance in common struggles. To begin, our second installment here of the study group is part 2 of Who is a Knowledge Worker, clarifying the meaning of the term through comparison with Synonymous and Associated Terms by Bartosz Surawski. Part 2 of the article looks at a handful of terms nearly synonymous with knowledge worker, starting off with the term white-collar worker. The white-collar worker emerged in the 19th and 20th centuries due to the rising productivity of fixed assets, an expanding distribution sector, and a growing range of coordination tasks. It applied to workers who could, quote, handle people, documents, and money, and whose competencies they sold in the labor market. Having less physical work, this class of worker has been distinguished from the blue-collar worker. The white-collar worker has been perceived as having a higher social status, creating much of the perceived middle class. While this worker type has been economically and politically identified as different from the working class, both rent out their labor and do not generate their subsistence from private property as do the capitalists. Over time, some white-collar professions, such as cashiers and postal workers, receded in status and independence as they began to resemble physical work again. Another term, office worker, is associated with handling documents, with acquiring, transforming, storing, and passing information, and with using computer tools and documents. It's adjacent to the term bureaucrat. The phenomenon of emerging bureaucracy and the evolution of work systems has required massive mental labor input. While bureaucracy has been criticized for inefficiency, being incapable of economic rationality, wasting resources, and conformism, it also tends to value professional knowledge, especially technical, the role of information, the maintenance of databases, and the need to protect information. However, because vertical promotion within a hierarchy in which each succeeding layer of management has less positions is the only path of economic development for the individual, the majority of employees are excluded from it, leading to discontent. The characteristics of bureaucracy favorable to knowledge workers include meritocracy, and the importance of specialist knowledge, work on information, problem solving, non-physical work products such as solutions and decisions, continuous process of knowledge codification, necessity to protect it, and also a postulated culture of objectivity and professionalism. We could consider from that other terms like knowledge producer, which treats knowledge as a product. As early as 1958, researchers estimated the new knowledge sector employed 31% of the working population of the USA. This included roles from engineers to telephone operators, from journalists to teachers. A 1980 study estimated 41% were employed in the knowledge sector. Authors Baumol, Blackman, and Wolf, 1989, used the term information worker, similar to the aforementioned knowledge producers. They studied the same time period, but divided information workers into knowledge producers, who were specialist researchers and innovators solving complex problems, and data workers, who processed and applied the knowledge. Between 1960 and 1980, the knowledge producer group in the USA rose from 7% to 9%, and the data worker group went from 35% to 43% of the workforce. For all 11 sectors included in that study, apart from farming, the share of knowledge producers in 1980 was between 7 and 12%, which suggests similar demand for knowledge producers across the economy. As for data workers, they formed 83% of the banking, insurance, and real estate sectors. Other terms include symbol analyst, as those who work on symbols and their analysis, requiring the worker to mentally process often complex information. There is the cognitary, who possesses information or knows how to find it and utilize it. And the creative class, which includes the likes of artists and poets. Then the gold-collar worker concept emerged as a subgroup of white collars. They earn consistent, high pay, work almost solely with brains, and perform tasks requiring an exceptional combination of knowledge and intelligence. Interestingly, their attitude toward bureaucracy is often strongly negative. This description seems to fit the modern consultant. So part 2 here is a semantic palette of terms associated with the knowledge worker and gives us a broad understanding about who the information worker might be. The overlap in descriptions seems to be the creation and handling of information as core functions, whether in artistic, consultant, or bureaucratic form.